Hey, it's me, Maria. It feels like it's been a long time since I've made a video. I'm back today and I'm going to talk a little bit about who are the spirits, because I mention them a lot and it always seems like I'm speaking kind of generally, and I am, and that's with reason. But I wanted to kind of go over just exactly what I mean by that. When I do divination, as I've mentioned previously in my video on divination from a spiritist perspective, I am working with the spirits of my dead, my ancestors, as well as those people who have come before me, who have done the same work I have, and who now guide me. These are spirit guides. And I'm not quite of the, I don't know if I would necessarily say I'm of the belief that like everybody's just born with one, but that's quite possible. I think we do always have spirits who walk with us, but there's a difference between just having one innately or just having one passively around you and working with them, which is a lot more empowering and is something that grants you greater gifts than if you were just to kind of bumble through life all on your own. So I'm going to talk about just kind of simply and shortly right now about how you would go about developing a deeper relationship with your spirit guides, because this is something that I think is essential for any diviner, especially if you are a diviner who comes from the perspective that foretelling the future is something that is done in coordination with spirits. So, when I am talking about the spirits, I very specifically mean those of my dead. And I think it is important to build a relationship with those who have come before you from your family, because they're always with you. They're in your blood. You owe them for your life. They're the ones who gave you everything. I know it can be complicated for some of us who maybe don't have as supportive families and perhaps come from abusive backgrounds in relation to families, but ancestral devotion can be a way of actually elevating and healing from traumas such as that. So while I wouldn't try to force anybody to absolutely have to venerate ancestors or dead relatives specifically, because there's kind of a difference between those, in a way, between those spirits who are people you knew in life who have passed on, and those who are just your ambient dead, like the dead who just kind of surround you. Because when people die and they pass on, while we remember their names and we say their names, like when I venerate my dead, I recite a list of as many of my dead relatives and ancestors as I can. But we lose something when we die. We don't completely change, but, well, actually that's not true. Death is entirely a massive change. It's one of the largest changes we go through in our life, right? So we kind of lose we lose a little bit of the individuality as we become one of the other ancestors. What in Lukumi is referred to as the Agun. And I kind of, because that's where I learned to work with my spirits, that's where I learned to work with my dead, is from things that were taught to me by my godfather. That's kind of how I see it. So when you want to begin this relationship, it's just very simple. You start offering them a glass of cold water, maybe not ice cold, but cool in temperature, not hot, but not ice cold either, and a little tea light candle. And what you'll want to do is also, if it's possible, have a list of as many of your dead relatives and or ancestors, excuse me, and your ancestors going back a little bit farther as well. This is helpful to establish a connection between all of you. If you don't know who those people are, and that's perfectly valid, some of us don't know that, and for really awful reasons, unfortunately, it's still possible to build that, and you can do that by reaching out simply, again, with a glass of water and a small candle. Set these out on a space that you've prepared with a fresh, clean, white covering, tablecloth. I use end runners I got from the dollar store that were brand new, and they can either be new, or if you can't do new, just freshly washed and clean. It should anything you bring up to this table should be clean. And once you have offered them the candle and the water, you just sit and talk with them. Tell them about yourself. Tell them why you're reaching out. Thank them for everything that they've done for you, whether you know it or not. and then ask them to be closer with you. Now, if you're looking to go a little bit beyond that and actually find and foster a relationship with a spirit guide, there are a couple different things you can do. But again, you can just do what I said previously with the water and the candle. But take a Queen of Clubs from a brand new playing card deck. And on that card, you can write my guide, or my spirit guide, something like that. And when you burn the tea light, set it on top of that playing card. The Queen of Clubs is one of the face cards amongst the playing cards. I'm saying that word a lot. And she represents teachers and as well as healers, and is a common stand-in for many female saints. For instance, Saint Lucia, who is a patron saint of eyesight and the light of the eyes. When I made a psychic vision oil working with her, I placed a Queen of Clubs in the oil. Anyways, so you take your Queen of Clubs, write my spirit guide on it, and then offer candle and water, and just call out. Ask for whatever spirit has been walking with you and guiding you in your life to step forward and make their presence known. If you're a diviner and you're doing this because you want to expand your divinatory base, tell them that and ask a guide to come forth. Now, it will not be instantaneous. This will take time. You need to build a relationship and a rapport, much like going to a therapist or a doctor. Your spirit guides are just like that. They're there to help you. But it will take time. It's not going to be instant. However, building up at least a weekly, if not daily practice of speaking to your dead will greatly, greatly increase the rate at which this happens. But it requires buildup. You have to just kind of lay the groundwork, get into the routine, and begin internalizing it into your life. So that's about that. There are more complicated things you could do, but I figured that this would be a really great way of just getting you, my viewers, who are interested in working with spirits, to actually just doing it. Because it's simpler than you think it. It's simpler than you or many of us think it is. You just have to talk to them. They're there. And once you start talking to them, once you start that conversation, it will continue and it will grow. Things you can do beyond that. For instance, you could utilize a mojo hand made specifically for psychic visions or for drawing spirit guides. I have made one of those for myself that immensely boosted the signal between my guide and I. And ever since I made that, she has been very, very close to me. And my mediumistic skill as well has increased greatly. Psychic vision oils, which you can make yourself and will be a lot easier. Okay, maybe not a lot easier, but a lot more efficient and effective. Making materia yourself gives it a certain power that when you buy it from others, depending on their skill, I don't know, there's just something to making it yourself. That being said, I have my own version of this, which is a St. Lucia oil that I mentioned earlier. But you can make this from olive oil with powdered frankincense and star anise. I actually will just post a link down below or share it in another post where I have a recipe that I actually helped create for this very oil. So that about wraps up what I want to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back soon to talk about other neat things I've been up to, and I just hope everyone's doing well. I know times right now are really rough, so you know what? There's no better time than now to reach out to your guides, reach out to your spirits, reach out to your dead, ask them to be with you. Ask them to be with you in power. Ask for them to protect you, because that's why we go to them, is because they lived lives as humans too, and that's what makes them so valuable, because they understand our struggles, they understand our pains, and they want us to succeed, and they want us to do better, and they want us to be well. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day, okay? Bye.